Hello and welcome to time-saving tips during remote learning. What we're going to do today is review some great ideas for helping you save time. I'm Lori Guion, and you can reach me at lguyon@wishweboces.org. My information will also be in the slide deck that's attached to this video. So the first thing that I'm going to go over with you, the first time-saving tip, is using keyboard shortcuts. Now you can just Google these to find some different ones for you to use, but I'm going to show you some of my favorites. I'm going to hit escape for a moment to come out of the slide deck, and if I hit Control F on my computer or Command F on my MacBook and I type in a word like the word time, it's going to show me how many times that word time shows up in my slide deck, and I can toggle between each of them. This will work on any website, any Google Doc, any PDF, anything you have. It will help you find the words on the page. Another one of my favorite keyboard shortcuts is Control-C, which copies, Control-V, which pastes, Control-Z, which undoes, or let's say I closed out a tab and I realized I wanted it. I can hit Shift Control-T and it will open that tab back up for me. All of those are great ways to save time because you can quickly toggle just by clicking some different things on your screen. Great ideas to just Google keyboard shortcuts, and it will show the ones that are best for your computer. My second time-saving tip is to organize your Gmail. Now, one of the things I use with Gmail is something called unroll.me. And what that does is it takes all of those vendor type of emails, so anything that you've subscribed to, anything that you have used where you're, you get on a mailing list, and it'll put it all into a once-a-day digest so that email isn't coming in all day long. So you connect your emails to it, unroll.me, and then you choose one of three things. You choose to roll up, which means it goes on that once-a-day digest, to unsubscribe so those emails don't come to your inbox anymore, or keep it in your inbox if it's something you want to keep it as it is. Another way to organize your Gmail, if I come out to Gmail here, is I can hit the cog that's next to my waffle, and I can choose default, which is going to keep everything the way it is, comfortable, which is going to narrow everything up, or compact, which makes it even smaller. I like the default. You can also choose your theme. That's going to change the look on the background. I can also have it change to important emails first. I can change it to default, which is going to create 4 categories or 5 categories for me. I can choose unread first, a priority, multiple inboxes. I can choose however I want this organized. If I do it with the different tabs, I have a primary tab. That's where all of your person-to-person emails go to. I have a social tab. That's going to be your YouTube or Instagram, anything along there. Promotions are going to be your companies that send you newsletters and that sort of thing. Updates are going to be anything that comes to you from a Google Doc or shared with you through a different company, or if you use Google Groups or different distribution lists. And then the forums are anything that is sent to you through a distribution list within your district. So if you organize your Google Gmail through using the way you have it organized, it's easier for you to kind of see everything you'd like to see. You can also create star different items, and you can create tags for each of them. So if you had something that you wanted to tag, you can highlight that one, click on the label that you want to tag it to, and then you can label it whatever it is you want to call it. Create new labels and organize it that way. The third tip is ways to kind of organize your Google Slides. So if you did the Google Slides course with me, you saw that we showed you how to change it over to grid view, but I'll show that again. And I'm going to show you some other quick tips and tricks within Gmail. So when I'm within Google Slides, when I'm in my Google Slide, I can choose how I want it organized. So right now I'm in film strip view. This is how it always opens up in Google Slides. But let's say this is a collaborative slide and I'm using this with many different students. I can click over to, and I'm at the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, I can switch over to grid view, and it's going to show all of my different slides on my screen. And then I can either move them around if I'd like to, or I could watch students in real time work on each of the slides that they've been assigned to. Another thing that you have in Google Slides that will save you time is the Explore feature. If you click on that Explore feature, you can search for anything within your Google Docs, anything on the web, and you can click and drag that information right into your slides. For different backgrounds, you can use different templates like Slide Carnival or Slides Mania or Slide Model. All of those are great places to find templates. Or you can use the background feature built right into your Gmail or right into your Google Slides by clicking on Image, choose Image, Google Image Search, and if I type in like dance floor, I can find all different backgrounds. So that's some ways to save times in Google Slides. In Google Drive, you can organize your folders and you can really find things easily using the search tool. So let me show you that. I'm going to go into my Google Drive by clicking on my waffle and clicking on my Drive icon. And I have it set that it opens up in my regular drive, not in my priority drive. You can choose how that is set up by clicking on your settings, and then you can choose how you want it set up through your settings. You can also see the keyboard shortcuts that we talked about earlier built right in here. So I'm going to click on settings and you can see that I can change how I have it set up. At the bottom, I can choose if I want relevant files and quick access. I can make priority my default home page. I can surface important people and files and shared with me. I can choose however I'd like to have it organized. Now within your Google Drive, you can create folders simply by clicking the new, click on folder, and you can title it whatever you'd like. And you click create. Once that folder is created, you can then start to add in whatever documents you'd like within that folder. If you right click on that Google folder, you're going to get some different options. I can change the color. I can rename it. I can share this folder with other people. That way it shares all of the resources that are within it. I can search within that folder if I'm looking for something in particular. I can add a shortcut. I can grab a link to it. So there's lots of different ways you can do that. But what I tend to do is use the search feature at the top. So you can type in any word you want. So if I type in the word hyperdoc, for example, it's going to show all the different resources that are available that have the word hyperdoc in it. Now let's say I want to narrow this search a little bit more. I only want to see Google Docs that have the word hyperdoc in it. So I'm going to click the down arrow next to the word hyperdoc, and I'm going to click on type, and I'm going to click on documents. And then I'll hit search, and now it's only going to show me ones that are Google Docs that have the word hyperdoc in it. Another way you can search in Drive is, let's say you did something last September. So I can type in September 2019, hit enter, and it's going to show me any resource that I've created in September of 2019. So there's lots of different ways you can kind of save time using your Google Drive search feature by organizing your Drive folders and thinking about how you're going to organize those folders. Another great thing is any Google Classroom that you have, it creates a folder for you. And if I go into one of those Google Classroom folders, I can click on it. So let's just say this is a Google Classroom folder here. So I'm in a Google Classroom folder, and I can see all of the resources that I've given students. I can see different activities that I have created and done things with. And if I click on any one of these folders, I can see all the work that's been handed in per student, and I can review all that information. If I want to see what's happened within this Google Classroom recently, I can click on the eye to view details, and it's going to show me the details. And then if I click on activity, I can see all of the items that have been added and edited by looking at the activity. So if you want to see if a student has handed something in and you can't really tell in Google Classroom, you can come into the Classroom folder in Drive and take a look at the activity by clicking that eye icon. There are some great Chrome extensions. Always before you use any Chrome extensions, check with your data privacy officer to see which items are okay for you to use within your school district. But I'm going to show you some of my favorites that I like to use when I was in the classroom. The first one I'm going to show you is Noisely, and what it does is it creates sounds that you can choose from to create different sounds within your classroom. So you'd pick different ones, and if I turn the sound up a little bit, You can hear now we've got a rainstorm going. I can put the forest on. So sometimes these are great ones to have in your background while the students are doing work. They find that they can be very calming. Some kids find it distracting, so you have to decide what's right for your students. Another great one for you is Classroom Screen. This one is a great one if your school allows it to be opened up. Unfortunately, I can't seem to get that one now, but it allows you to open up to a screen where you can have a whiteboard, you can put in a random name generator, you can add timers and all sorts of things. Again, you have to see if it's okay in your district. Another great one that I like is called Stay Focused. What that does is it blocks you into a website for a little while. So if you need to stay focused on something, you can add this to your Chrome extension, click on it, and choose how long you want to stay within something, and it'll help you stay focused within that. Bitmoji is one of my favorites. I have that Chrome extension up here, and what that does is allows me to click and drag out whatever Bitmoji I'd like onto the screen and do different things with them there. Wakelet has a Chrome extension that if you turn that on, any websites that you're on, you do a one-click and it will add it into a collection for you. That is another great time-saving tip to kind of save all of the websites that you're looking at. You can also split your screen to help save time, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to minimize my screen a little bit, and then I'm going to take my mouse and I'm going to go along the edge of my screen till I get the two-sided arrow, and I'm going to click and drag in. So I'm holding that left click and dragging it in. Once I do that, I can grab any type of or any tab that I have, again, click and drag it out, and I can organize it between the two slides. If I decide I want to put it back, I just click and drag it back. Now I'm just clicking and doing that myself, but there are Chrome extensions that will do that for you, like Split Tab or Dualist will help split your screen for you. Another great time-saving tip is to use Google Keep. Now Google Keep is your virtual sticky notes. They're always on the right-hand side within Google Slides, and they're also in Gmail and in Google Docs. And you can see that I can take pictures of items and have it changed over into words. I can put in links. I can put in my own notes and have it changed into a to-do list. Each of these notes, if I open up Google Keep, can become completely collaborative. So if I take a note and I can say notes from today, I can put a title in. And I can add a time to remind me to do something on the note. I can add a collaborator to the note. I can change the color of the note. I can add in an image from wherever. So maybe I wanted to add in an image. So here's one I used for a different class. I can archive it if I'm done with it. And if I click the three dots, I can add a label, a drawing, which brings you out to a basic drawing board that you can actually draw right on, however you'd like to do that. And it saves your images. I can add in checkboxes. I can grab image text. So right now it's got, you can see it says hybrid learning with Google Classroom from setup to set them free, sign me up, and it did pretty well. It says from something, set them free, didn't quite make it in there, but you can edit it once it comes in. It does pretty well. And you can also copy this right into your Google Docs. So if you make a Google Keep, you can slide those notes, images, and drawings right into a Google Doc. You can also organize your Chrome tabs. You might have noticed I have a lot of tabs open, but I have pin tabs over on the right. So if I'm clicking on any of these pin tabs, like let's say my calendar, for example, this is harder for me to close because I don't have an X, versus going over to Google Drive where I can hit the X and close a tab by accident. Now, if I ever close a tab by accident, I just hit Shift-Control-T and that tab will open back up. But if I pin a tab, it will keep it always open for me and pinned so it's harder to lose. So let's say I wanted to pin this time-saving tips one. I'm going to right-click, or if you're on a trackpad, it's a two-finger tap, and I'm going to click on pin. And that's going to pin that link so it's harder for me to close out that website. If I right click and unpin, I can open that back up. Now you might have noticed while I had right clicked, I have other options. I can add a new tab, I can move it to another window, I can reload the tab, duplicate the tab, pin it, mute it, close it. I can also say close all tabs to the right, and it will close all those tabs that I have closed to the right. I can create bookmarks by clicking the star, and then it will save it right on my bookmarking tab. I can choose to send it to a folder. I can uncheck it if I don't want it anymore. So I click remove. All right, and so you always have that available to you on top as well. Jamboard is a phenomenal way to collaborate with your students. If you go to jamboard.google.com, or it's in your waffle, and it's the one that looks like a J, is Jamboard, and you can create these interactive presentations with your students. So just to show you an example of one, here's one that a teacher was using for a lunch template. So every day she'd have the students go in and they would create a post-it note with their name on it, and then they would drag that post-it note to whatever their choice was for the day, and they would use this as a lunch count every day. Other ways you can use Jamboard is you can have all of your students on the same Jamboard, and you can use templates in the background. You can use it as a basic one for there just to be a background of like a blank slate that students can write on. You have some basic tools here on the right, including your pen tools. You have an eraser, you have a select tool, you have a sticky note feature that will add sticky notes to your screen that you can move around and slide and change the size of however you'd like to do that. You can pull in any images. There's even a Google image search, and I'll show you a few of those. You can bring in shapes, and there's a text box. So you can put up to 20 pages on a Google Jam, and you can make them collaborative to get up to 50 students on at a time. So your students can log in, they can add post-it notes, you can bring in a template that the students will write on. You can use the shapes tool, you can bring in images, you can use, oops, I'm still on the draw tool. You can move things around on your screen, so you can grab different images that way. You can use shapes. Just another template for you, another template, another template, template. And here I just found some images from Google, from the Google search. So I just clicked on the image tool, clicked on Google image search, and put in math worksheets. And I was able to pull any of these in that students can then work on. And again, you can use different templates. So it really becomes a great collaborative feature for you as you're going through. The next time-saving tip is using the Google Classroom comment bank. Now, if you went through the Google Classroom course with me, you saw how to use that. But if you click the link in the slide deck that you have, you can grab that comment bank. You can also add a little fun to your Google Classroom by using cool fonts, or even using emojis to kind of categorize your topics. So what are your time-saving tips? What did I miss? That would be great for you to know. If you need me, please reach out to me. I'm happy to help you anytime. You can email me or tweet at me. That information is on your screen and in the slide deck.